Hello, scientists. Have you ever wondered what your cells are doing all day? Or have you ever been curious about how your body heals? Or maybe you find it fascinating how organisms grow from young to old. Well, all of these functions are thanks to mitosis, which we'll be covering this video today. So, without further ado, let's get started. Before we get into mitosis, let's quickly go over interphase. Cells will spend 80% of their time here. Think of this stage as their 9 to 5 job. Then mitosis is the big nighttime event the cells go to after their workday. During interphase, the cells are hustling. In G1, they'll grow. Then they'll copy DNA in the synthesis phase. And lastly, they'll do one final check to make sure they have all the tools and nutrients in the G2 phase. Remember, there's checkpoints throughout all of interphase to make sure the cells are doing their job smoothly. In conclusion, interphase is the cell's chaotic and hustled workday where they are occupied most of the time. Okay, now we are going to start the stages of mitosis. They are prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. Here's a quick acronym to help make sure that you remember of the order of the phases and never mess them up. You can remember it as please make a taco. This will make sure you never forget which stage comes after what. Now it's time for prophase. You can think of this phase as the cell getting ready for a night out. The cell is getting everything organized to divide. The DNA, which is the recipe that makes you, is getting tightly and neatly packed together to make chromosomes. Chromosomes are the little X figures that we see here. There are also other materials like the spindle fibers that start to assemble. Now, a rhyme to help you remember what prophase does is condense the DNA, get the helpers into place, my dear, it's time for prophase. Now we are on metaphase. This is like when you are meeting up with your friends after you've gotten ready and everyone is ready to go out. The chromosomes are a big group of friends. They all got ready to go out during prophase and now they are meeting up. All the chromosomes, or if we're going to describe it with our metaphor, the friends, meet up at the equator of the cell, just like how you and all of your friends meet up at one person's house to hang out. Remember those spindle fibers that we talked about in prophase? Well, they continue to help the chromosomes line up in the middle of the cell. In this phase, the spindle fibers make sure all the chromosomes are organized, much like how a group of friends might have a group chat to make sure all the friends are on the same page. To remember what a cell looks like in metaphase, think of this rhyme. Chromosomes lined up in a row, metaphase is a go. The next stage is anaphase. To continue with our friend group metaphor, anaphase is where all the friends that met together are pulled apart. The chromosomes are nearing the end of their super fun night together. Those spindle fibers that were assembled in prophase and helped line up all the chromosomes in metaphase are now responsible for a huge process in anaphase. The spindle fibers are responsible for pulling the chromosomes to opposite ends of the cell. A key indicator that a cell is in anaphase is when the cell begins to pinch in the middle. We really begin to see how the cell is going to be split into two. The spindle fibers make sure that each new cell will have the correct number of chromosomes. Alright, now a rhyme to help you remember anaphase is, anaphase will have the chromosomes splitting away. Second to last stage is telophase. To review, in prophase, our DNA got ready and packed into chromosomes. Then, in metaphase, those chromosomes met up in the middle of the cell. And finally, in anaphase, the spindle fibers pulled the chromosomes to opposite ends of the cell. In telophase, 2 nuclei and 2 new DNA envelopes form over said chromosomes. We will be able to identify the 2 separate nuclei envelopes and chromosomes will then begin to unwind. A fun rhyme to remember telophase is near the end and it's where 2 separate nuclei begin to mend. Alright. We have made it to the last and final part of cell division. It's time for cytokinesis. This is the stage where the cell is actually split into 2 because now each cell will have its own cytoplasm. So, once cytokinesis is finished, we have 2 new cells that each have their own cytoplasm, nucleus, DNA, and all the other cell organelles. After cytokinesis, the cells will enter back into interphase and go back through the cell cycle again. Here is a rhyme to remember cytokinesis. Mitosis came and went, cytokinesis is at the end. Here we find 2 new cells that are off and ready to send. That's the journey of mitosis. It starts with 1 cell, and by the end, we have 2 new cells that are ready to go through this process again. Thank you so much for watching. It was my pleasure to teach or help you review the process of cell division. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications so you know every time we post. That's it. I'll see you next time.